Hi, I'm Magpie,
No!
and I'm Jules, and I'm Bunniichii. I'm taking it back.
I walked right into that one.
Yes, you did.
Mm. Hi, Magpie. What are we talking about today?
I took it back. We're talking about parasocial relationships in the idol industry
Magpie,
and
what
and
the hell is a
cosplayers.
parasocial relationship? I've never been on the
I'm
internet.
I'm glad you asked, Jules. Let's ask Google.
You don't want to just give us an off the cuff definition?
No, that sounds. Mm. Per the an Australian? No.
We don't listen to the Australians.
A parasocial relationship is any form of relationship experienced by an audience in their premeditated state that is fed to them through a another individual or group.
It's a one-sided relationship.
Yes.
To put it in terms for laymen, it's a one-sided relationship.
See, the thing
Thank
is, Layman and I broke it off a while ago.
Fuck you. Thank content creators and people who watch their content. You end up
Wow.
walking away from it feeling like you know the guy, like you're friends. You're not.
Yep. No.
But I think here, let me start off by saying I think it is inherently normal to end up with that
Yes.
feeling. I think it is incredibly
Because
normal when you see someone on Instagram regularly and you read their captions, or occasionally you comment and get a message back, or if you are,
couldn't be
sitting
me.
down and having a mental break and watching all of H Bomber Guy's videos just back to back to back for 48 hours.
That
Um,
could be me.
that could be you, but you playing. I think it's a very normal thing to walk away from that experience feeling like you know that person. I just want to say there's no shame in having that feeling. The shame
I
comes
also
from
wanted to
acting
include
on
that.
it.
Yes. I definitely wanted to touch on that while we were talking as well, because at least the points that I'm going to tick down on will make it seem very hypocritical of me if I don't say this first. I acknowledge that anyone who's on the internet and either follows someone or watches some form of content that's created by a creative, you will have a parasocial relationship to some extent.
Yeah.
Like I love idol groups. I solidly acknowledge that I have parasocial relationships with those groups. But
Yeah.
it's how you act on that relationship. Is it going to be in an unhealthy manner versus a healthy manner where you acknowledge that they are separate from what you see? Essentially what you're seeing is an act, it is a character, and then there's the difference between them off stage, off screen, because you don't
In
truly
the
know that
privacy of their
person.
homes.
Yep. And that they are allowed that separation of self.
Yeah. I would even say pre-internet culture, we as a whole had parasocial relationships with celebrities.
Yeah, it's true.
It's the same reason you're sad when a celebrity dies, because you have a parasocial connection to them. You are sad that they died. If you died, they wouldn't notice.
Yeah. It's due to that inherent influence that they have on the society and community that's been created based off of that community's dedication to this individual.
All right, I think we have successfully defined a parasocial relationship. So, what are
Hooray!
your experiences with parasocial relationships and unhealthy group dynamics, specifically within this really terrible hobby that we have in common?
Oh, see, I was even going to start off with doing a quick flashback to the webhead story that I had from last week.
Oh, please do.
Yes. So there was two. I wrote them down on the Google Doc so I could go back and read it.
I'm so proud of you. One of us
Thank
has to plan
you.
ahead.
One of us, yeah. Okay. So this happened after the group meetup that happened at a convention. At this point, I was in a community college, and this community college had campuses all across the San Antonio area. So if you
Mm-hmm.
had one course at one campus and then another one at a different campus, that's very common for that community college. And what happened was, since I met Webhead at one of these campuses, is that when I was at a different campus, there was just a total stranger who was in one of my classes. And they knew my name right away.
Oh, that's
Like, they were like,
creepy.
right? And then what happened is they were like, oh, it's you. I love what you do with Webhead. And I was like, what? But like, very nice. Not the me I am now. And they're like, oh, you look a lot different in person than I thought you would. Why aren't you so outspoken and so loud and vibrant?
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was really weird. And then they were in one of my needed courses to go
Oh,
to the
that's
next
worse.
semester.
No.
Yeah. So internally, I was like, man, I got like at least one more semester to go, and then I'll at least graduate with an associate's, and then I'll go over to a 4-year college. Well, they ended up stalking me.
Oh, no.
And I was coined as their friend. And they wouldn't let me listen to the class lectures because they had to talk to me about what videos I should do, and that I should start my own channel, and how I should dress, and that they didn't like what I was doing. So yeah,
And this was a real human person.
This was a real human person.
This was a real
which is the
person.
horrifying part. This was a real person.
Oh, no.
So yes, I did drop out of that course. And I just went straight to a 4-year college.
Oh, my.
I didn't finish my associates.
So, a parasocial relationship brought on by being part of a video project that you didn't even want to be a part of. Made you drop out of made you drop out of community college.
Yeah.
No. You know, at least when
Yeah.
I got stalked, it wasn't parasocial. The person actually knew me.
But the thing was, it was one of those weird things too, where it was like they would leave comments on the vlogs, and then Webhead would feed into it as well.
No.
So yeah. So when I like talk to you about idle parasocial relationships and like this digging like deconstruction of the whole industry, I have somehow had this experience before I knew what idols were, which is very strange.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah.
that's not great.
No, it's not.
No. Are you ever worried that they're ever going to find you now?
Sometimes I'm a bit worried. Other times I'm like, I don't think they would find me. I've scrubbed as much of myself clean of that scene as I can.
Mm-hmm.
And even like in regards to like usernames and anything I post on socials, it's very curated.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something where I could easily be found. Like if I post a picture of, if I'm like in an area, I'm typically going to post the picture of where I was either once I'm home or like 2 days after. So no one can even find where I was. But due to
I know you and I
vlogger,
had that conversation a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But due to being friends with a vlogger at the time who would post stuff daily and would say like where they were, it was very hard to not be on the map.
That's fair.
Yeah, and then also that's when I was in the reggae band, so we were actively, promoting any of our gigs. Some of those people that watch the vlogs would go to the gigs. So then it was this whole other level where I'd have to appeal to both the crowd that we were playing for, but also this separate audience.
Right.
Yeah. Very strange dynamics.
So that was back in your web ahead days.
Yep.
Have you had anything like that since?
Yeah. Not to the same degree, thankfully.
I mean, that would be truly unhinged if you were to look me in the eye and say, yeah, no, this totally happened a second time.
It was more to the effect where it's a lot of more in online experiences, or some of the, I'm hesitant to say weird. And to be quite frank, I'm going to be very straightforward about these interactions. And if people, I'll be honest, Jules, I think I've been kicked out of the Texas Idol community.
I mean, you're too good for them anyway.
I know, especially after the last episode we put out. Man,
you're too good for them anyway.
I'm also too old for half of them anyways.
Yeah, let's not
Nice.
hang out with 17-year-olds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, when I first, quote unquote, not going to say debuted, but first did some more public appearances after doing an Idol debut, there would be groups and people that would come up to me and be like, oh, I came to this con just to see you, and I wanted to watch you because I've been following you on Instagram for forever, and I remember when you did this, why don't you do this cosplay anymore? And it was just like, I don't even know you. Why?
That's wild.
Yeah. And then the interesting and weird part is that some of these groups would end up consistently going to the same conventions as I would be, whether as performance guests or just as people that are going. And each time they would immediately find me and come up to me and talk to me. And it actively got to a point where there was one convention where I was talking to Momo and crew,
Mm-hmm.
And
as you do.
As you do, I only hang out with my crew. You have to be part of the baddies to talk to us. But this one of the groups that had consistently talked to me, worked their way up and were talking directly to me, and so me trying to not appease, but not cause a commotion, especially since I was a guest at this convention. I talked to them, did the whole little promoting deal, and they gave me stuff. Yeah, and then I went back to talking to Momo and co. But the thing that got to me was Momo immediately was like, oh, you didn't have to come back to us. You can hang out with your friends. And then me, I'm like, and like, if we talk to Momo, she'll straight up like say that I said this. I was like, I don't know them. They're not my friends. This is a straight up playing. This is a straight up fan service. Okay, you guys.
Yeah.
And that's what I said.
That sounds like a
that's
Maggie.
What it is. Thank you. I will identify exactly what it is I'm doing at all times. But that's the weird part about but that's the weird thing about parasocial relationships, is that that's one of the biggest marketing tricks. And I was going to talk about this a bit because when we go down to the whole nitty gritty of parasocial relationships in regards to idols, like the whole community and just like fandom and even business side of the idol industry is based off of parasocial relationships. You can't have this idea of idols without creating that relationship.
I think that's inherently what sets idols apart from regular like Western pop stars.
Yes, it does. And then also the extremes that are gone to create these extremely unhealthy relationships. Even the way that one would talk about their favorite like member. And again, it's going to sound so hypocritical of me since I do market myself as an overseas idol. I openly say that I love J-pop and K-pop. I know what I am, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But it's this weird mold that you have to brand yourself as and sell to a wide audience. And something I was thinking about while I was editing like the last episode is the difference between when you interviewed me a year ago, right before doing the official Magpie debut branding, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The way that I was marketing myself then was based off of what the ideal image would be for an
It's
audience.
entirely different.
It's entirely different, including my voice pitch and the way I act.
Yes, this is a lot more authentic Maggie TM.
Yeah. And the interesting part, though, is because since I like looking at data and analyzing it, the interesting part is when I was less authentic and more fitting into that predetermined mold, I was getting a better response from the community. I was getting a better following, more interactions on posts and anything that was being done.
Yeah.
Now,
Ghost town.
now, ghosts. And I'll even mess around like on social media to try and emulate and parody in a way what actual like idol groups and individuals do on social media, just to see what the response is. And it is insane. It's in like the funniest of ways. Because I told you about the one dance practice photo
where
that I
you
posted.
ended up sitting down, I think.
Yeah, totally covering my face with a bucket hat. That post was a post that did the best on anything that I had posted in months, which to me was so funny.
That's horrifying.
Because I even like use this like very specific filter angles. I like got a ton of photos from different K-pop idols and just tried to emulate those to different degrees, as well as the way they edited it and what they would post for that post, just to see as a very fun
But isn't that what they are doing with each other?
It is. And that's the funniest bit. It's so funny in a very kind of scary, horrifying way. But it's just such an interesting read on an audience.
Fair enough.
Yep.
So at what point do you think a parasocial relationship goes from being this normal thing that everyone experiences to being unhealthy? What makes it unhealthy?
What makes a parasocial relationship is unhealthy is when the audience starts to lose that sense of differentiation between what they're being sold and the actual individual.
Okay, so when they lose grip of reality.
Yeah, when we go into true escapism and no more acknowledging that this is an actual human being. That's when we go into the, oh no, maybe you need to go outside and roll in the grass. Don't touch it. Roll in it, please.
Yeah. And I think we also saw a decent amount of parasocial relationships touching that grass, like coming into real life when we were at Northwest Idol Fest. Not with us, but with the idols that were there.
Yeah, that's I also wanted to talk about that because the way that you interacted with them.
The idols or the fans?
Yeah. We didn't have fans, girl.
No, not our fans, the idols fans.
Oh, no, we were straight up observing.
Like Animal Planet.
Well, I was observing. Yeah, I was straight nature documentary observing that
To
shit.
be clear, I want this on record. I had a great
Yeah.
time at that little con.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was
I had a great time
fascinating.
too.
I'm not saying this to be derogatory or negative. I am saying
I
this
think
because this is how I enjoy things.
I think I also have to put another trigger warning, or at least like a big header here, where it says we are not being condescending. We
I mean, I've always been
genuinely,
condescending, but
but that's the
its
way
own
we
problem.
are. That's the way we are.
No, yeah, let's talk about what the idols were like at Northwest Idol Fest.
Firstly, I love them. Amazing humans, amazing individuals. I am only sad that we didn't get to spend more time outside the convention with them.
I would agree with this statement.
I
I
wish
will
we had more
co-sign
round
that.
one. I wish
Oh,
we had
round one
more
was
round one,
great.
and that I was,
Note for
and that
anyone
I
who
didn't
might
lose
be
my voice.
note for anyone who might be listening to this who works with Northwest Idol Fest. Round one, the day zero round one party, keep it. It was awesome.
Also,
I want more cons to have like a
round one,
silly
round one.
round one party beforehand. Like, do it. That's my sentence. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Also, anyone at Northwest Idol Fest, I still love the con, even though I just say shit. That's just how I am. If you ever want me to come, please. I just want to perform for people. Dang it. Texas won't let me anymore.
You're too old. You're over 22.
I'm too old. And also, I don't do the oh, I'm so cute. Yay bit.
No, you do
forever.
the
I won't
Alex
sell
Pinku
out.
thing.
I know. But Alex
Anyway.
is all the way up in the Northeast.
I guess you need to move there. Anyway,
I need to move back home.
let's talk about Northwest Idol Fest.
Right, anyways.
What is Northwest Idol Fest?
Northwest
Or
Idol
what was
Fest
it the
is
year we went?
Northwest Idol Fest, the year that we were cosplay guest judges, was a mixture of Warped Tour for idols, and then maybe we're going to try and enter the convention scene too. I don't know though, maybe.
Yeah, it was like 70-30.
Yep.
Warped Fest 70, Con 30.
And then in the middle, we're going to have at least 3 weddings. Yeah.
Okay, but that wasn't their fault.
It wasn't, but it was really funny.
That's true. So it is a small event that brings together the best of Kaigai idols for a, what was it, a 2-day, a 3-day, a 3-day long
a
jamboree.
3-day event.
Yeah. For a 3-day long jamboree of, events, meet and greets, concerts, things like that.
Essentially, it would be the equivalent of if you were to go to Japan and see any underground or mainstream J-pop idol. If you were to go to Korea to go to a K-pop fan meeting, something like that, you would be getting the same experience, but here in the States.
And they had people
is a very big appeal.
They had people like Alex Pinku. They had
Paida,
Maris,
Melancholia.
They had Ember Knights. They had there was who was the really cute
we had MS Paint Palette.
MS Paint Palette, yeah, Pan Ranger. A whole bunch of Kaigai items.
MS Paint Palette is coming out with her first single.
I would like to formally announce here that MS Paint Palette is someone I am in love with, and I need her to know that. Anyway, moving on.
If you are an idol and we interacted with you at Northwest Idol Fest, I love you.
Basically. I got my first Chucky there.
My Chucky with Marius is on my friendship shrine.
We'll do a whole thing about the actual con another time. The point that
we should see if we could get Marius or we should see if anyone could get on for that. Yeah, if we could get Marius or Alex or even Paida, but I know Paida's pretty stretched thin these days. Anyways, back on track.
The point you were wanting to make.
Yes.
Was.
Essentially, we're having a mass manufactured event that typically you'd only be able to experience overseas, which would cost a lot of money. And then the fact that you're not able to have that translation brought it over to the States. Yay, you can now meet your favorite overseas idols and start to create that parasocial bond offline, which is how a majority of these idol groups consist overseas. A majority of the J-pop, K-pop, C-pop, idols. The primary way that they're able to get that revenue and stay active is through these fan meetings and these personal interactions. I know something pretty popular now, especially with K-pop idols, is doing fan calls. That's going over to like the J-pop idol scene as well. But like doing a 1-minute video call and paying up to triple digits for the opportunity to maybe interact with someone that you don't know is wild to me.
That's a lot of money.
It is. Or paying a lot of money for a picture on a piece of paper. Also, yes, I also sell those, but that's for the bit.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the point you were originally going to lead up to was how when we first met the idols at round 1, the way they first interacted with us, when they were
right. Yeah.
wary, was very different from once they actually started speaking to us.
Yes, because the way that they interacted with people that were the fans and you're selling that idea to,
completely
it was
different.
A different person, completely different. When we were interacting with them at round 1, I'd say like the first 30, 45 minutes, very wary, very standoffish, but like not in a bad way.
I can't even blame them because they were just there to have fun. They don't want to do the idol thing right then. They wanted to be at round 1 with their friends.
Exactly. But then thanks to you, Jules, you got many plushies from many different
you're darn right I
did. Claw machines, and we bribed our way into talking with them.
That is 100% how it happened. I didn't know who anyone was. And
I did.
So I wasn't intimidated and I wasn't acting weird because I didn't know who they were.
For me,
so
I was
started handing out plushies.
And then I was out here. I had a terrible stress cold because I was overworking myself, and excited for this event. And on top of that, I was like, man, I'm going to be near people who creatively inspire me, because I knew about all these idols prior to going to the festival, and they inspired me from like a musician standpoint. So I was like in my head being like, how could I talk to them? But I don't want them to think I'm a weird fan, because I also respect them as an individual. But how do I and how do I not seem like someone who's trying to like,
social climb.
Social climb, yeah. So for me, I was just like, Julie. So Julie,
and I had it. So what were they like once we gave them plushies and started talking to them like regular human beings?
Fantastic. Talked about video games.
Oh, yeah.
I played DDR. I failed horribly because I always do. But we all had fun. We had a great time. And we were able to talk to them pretty... what was
we
it?
shared an Uber back because it got so late that we couldn't take the bus back.
We had to Uber. Marius and I bonded over Mermaid Melody.
Love that.
And that now we still have to do a photo shoot. Marius, if you hear this, we need our hippo. Now is your time to shine.
That's true. No, so they were 100% guarded because they didn't want to do the whole, song and dance of, oh my God, thank you so much. And the moment they realized that they didn't have to do that, they acted like normal fucking people. Because if you treat other people like normal fucking people, that's what they're going to act like.
Another thing, though, I think, is because neither of us actively had our phones going.
Yeah.
And if you were recording, prior to you recording anything, you actively
I
asked, is
asked.
it okay if I film?
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the biggest parts, because if you know you're going to be on film, there's that expectation of how you should look. But
I
if
mean,
you're
I
not
also
going to be on
prefaced it
film,
with, I'm just trying to get video of Maggie being an idiot. Don't worry.
yeah, and I know what I am.
Like, this isn't professional. We're not trying to be
No,
serious.
no, this is solely us just being us.
Goobers.
Bunniichii in its fetus stage.
Neonates. Um, I'll save the Pieta story for when we actually talk about Northwest Idol Fest, because I think it's the antithesis of having a parasocial relationship, where I have no
Yep.
idea what the hell's going on, and I just talk to people like regular people, and it
And
freaks
then me,
everyone around
meanwhile,
me out.
no. And then me in the background, no.
So, would in thinking about the concept of parasocial relationships in kind of the standard environment in Instagram in which we reside, I think like a low level parasocial relationship amongst anyone who follows anyone, person A and person B, is the standard.
Yeah. That's the only way
It's
you
the
can
moment you are
actively use it.
mutuals. The moment you're mutuals, you treat that person like a friend.
And if you're on that close friends list, whoo!
Besties. That's the best friend list.
Yeah.
But it's a very
pretty wild.
strange thing, because I was sitting here thinking about it, and like, there are people I speak to very regularly on Instagram. Like, in DMs, we have long, normal conversations. I would no longer consider that to be a parasocial relationship, because they know who I am. We talk back and forth. But there are people I follow, and when I am speaking of them to another individual, like if I'm referencing their costume or what they've been up to, I have to stop myself from saying my friend X, because they aren't my friend. They don't know who I am. It's this person I follow on Instagram who I happen to know this about is doing XYZ.
Right.
But even if I'm even coming to that, innate response of, oh, my friend, when we are not friends, I imagine, especially for younger users, the line is even more blurred.
Yes.
Or people who are on it more, because let's face it, I'm not on Instagram a lot.
I am.
I post once every 6 months.
Hi, I'm the one that likes to try and post at least once a week, and I still put out a question on my post to see if anyone will ever comment.
I just comment on Discord.
It's true. I have gotten some of my my actual friends to comment very queer-coded things on my photos, though.
Nice.
And I will play along with that happily. Oh, yeah. Daniela posted a comment on the Vampire Miku one, and she, what was it? She messaged me privately, and she was like, I wanted to do something really gay, but I didn't know how fine you were doing it on main. And I was like, go as gay as you want. The gayer, the better. Baby. Let's go.
Maggie, I just remembered. I had a dream the other night.
You had a dream
about me? This has nothing to do with anything. Yes, you were in my dream.
Yes!
This
is staying in the episode.
I had a dream that I was on like some kind of cruise boat, and I was there because I was hired entertainment, and I was trying to get to this birthday party that I was hired there for. And you run up to me, and you're dressed as Tamaki, and you're like, Julie, come on, you don't even have your costume. And I'm like, oh, bro, I'm trying. And so I'm like putting clothes on as we get to the location, and we get there, and I hop up on stage, and I look around, and I realize that we are in a boy band drag king group of foreign high school host club.
Kiss, kiss, fall in love.
Like, it was a full, 3-part play act.
Did I write this? It sounds like something I would write.
And I need you to know that was my dream the other night. Make of that what you will.
The dream.
Like, it was a musical. It was a musical. We were drag kings in a musical.
So we full on did went into Oron, did the Oron bit, and then Weevil did the Lobelia like
So
that.
no, like you wrote a musical for us to
I wrote
perform,
a
as a drag king like troupe.
musical.
Would you like to guess what host I was?
Mommy?
It was Maury because you said, Julie, you can't
No!
sing, so we're just gonna make you Maury because he doesn't talk.
No! I would have put you as Kyoya.
You were like, we can't. Julie, I've heard you sing. I know you're trying,
But
but
that
I'm
would
not
fit
letting
for
this sink.
Kyoya. But
So I had been meaning to tell you about that dream for a few days now.
the thing is, the thing that gets me is that I would have you play Kyoya, and then Mori would be the breakout star because it would be all of his internal dialogue, and they'd be ballads.
Oh, I like that.
That would be the part that flips it. So
Let's also not forget the framing that we were hired entertainment on a cruise ship.
both of us seasick.
No, I mean us seasick, but it was a full troupe.
It was a full troop. Everyone was in on this. I had enough people to either, I had enough of a budget to hire people, or B, enough dirt on people that I blackmailed them to be part of my Oron High School Host Club Drag King musical performance
Yes.
show.
Uh-huh.
The dream. How do I get there?
Anyway, I just needed you to know that. Parasocial relationships. So I've had a handful of experiences regarding that during my tenure as a cosplayer.
Your tenure?
The first,
Are we at a university?
Yes.
Cosplay
I speak the way
Let's
I
go.
speak. Blame my mother.
Mom.
The first time that I had someone recognize me off of Instagram, like I did a literal double take. Um, it was San Japan. I don't remember what year it was. I was dressed as uh what's her name? Mint from Tokyo Mew Mew. I was trying her Mew version.
Okay.
It was a bad day for everyone involved, and
Yeah,
myself
they.
included.
Yep.
We were it was a bad day. Everything had gone wrong. I was rushing to go do a shoot with Momo, and as I'm walking, I hear someone go, Jules? And I'm like, oh, that must be Maggie. And I turn around and I don't see a Maggie. And a person, a complete stranger, walks up to me and they go, oh, you're Jules, right? And my instinct inherently, whenever someone asks me if I am who I am, is to get defensive. I'm like, who's asking?
It's great. It's great.
Who's asking?
Who's asking?
But I was running late, so I was like, yes. And I'm like, oh my god, I follow you on Instagram. I'm so excited that I was able to see you. Like, I saw you were coming to this con. I got really hyped for it. I was like, I'm flattered. Thank you. I didn't know how to process this. And so we took a quick selfie and I went to the shoot, and it was a fine interaction. It was a normal interaction, but it was weird. It was weird to think that other human beings follow my work to the point where they see I am going to San Japan and they think to themselves, I am also going to San Japan. Not just, oh, it'll be cool if I meet up with this person, but I am excited to try to see their costume. I am excited to see them in person. You know?
Because that happened, the first time that happened to me with cosplay after Webhead, had to have been at A-Kon. Because I remember very clearly, I was excited to wear Fantastic Departure again, but this time, yo. And I remember because we were going to eat dinner. I think it was like day one. Because it was the day before competition day that we were doing our karaoke roulette. Which, by the way, for anyone who goes to Texas Cons, we started that idea, and whoever stole it, watch it back.
I hope you're having fun running it.
We did it better. You could never get police officers to dance to the Village People. Anyways.
Was that when we ended up going to pizza, or was that pizza was after the
Pizza was the
pizza
after
was Saturday.
competition.
Friday we
Yeah.
closed out a bar drinking Diet
Yeah,
Cokes.
it was on Friday, but before we had dinner, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
We were walking to the restaurant, and there was someone that stopped and was like, "Are you Magpie?" And me just immediately like, because I've been using, if you don't know, which most people don't, I've been using the moniker Magpie as a nickname for more than a decade now. So it's very second hand nature for me to just turn around and acknowledge that. Um, but for someone in cosplay at a convention to be like, "Are you Magpie cosplays?" Be what? A very
The
quick double
what?
turn. What? A very quick like double turn, and these were all younger cosplayers dressed in like Love Live, and it was just this weird. This was the first time that we interacted with Mooney.
Okay.
And so it was this very interesting experience for me, though, because then it was her interacting with me being an adult. Her, I was like, might be at least a young adult, not sure.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, just like flattered that I had finally that someone like wanted to talk to me in in a way of like, oh, you inspire me, cool, that's great, but also just the way of familiarity that she spoke to me, like she'd known me for years,
Mm-hmm. And see,
was
that's the
so
weird
weird.
part. It's if
Yeah,
someone recognizes me and from Instagram, that's fine. When people
yeah.
speak to me like I am a long-term family friend,
When it's like
that's when
so
it's weird.
informal, and I
Or
found that
like
that
they're
is
mentioning
so
things
common.
that like
Yeah.
your friends.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, I see you've been doing this. How is your dog doing? And I'm like, who are you?
Or like, hey, you weren't on the vlogs anymore. What happened between you and Webhead? Me? What?
Yeah,
Puppy,
that's
what?
weird.
See,
That's
somehow I
weird.
didn't want to be in this, but somehow I've experienced parasocial relationships for way longer than anyone should be.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think
Um,
my
yeah.
biggest example of having a parasocial relationship come to
Mm.
fruition was at the con that we don't name. I was
Because you'll
invited
get sued.
as a cosplay guest. They can try to sue me. One of us has money. It's not them. Um,
Ooh.
and I am notoriously face blind when it comes to cosplay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Maggie can straight up walk up to me in a costume, and if I'm not
Yep.
ready to see her in that costume, I'm not going to recognize her. Like I
Instead,
will
I have to
stare right
do.
past you, Max, like you're an NPC.
I know, and I play with it. I'm ready.
It's horrible.
Oh no, it's
But
hilarious for me. It's the best.
because of this, I tend to just if someone starts speaking to me in a very familiar way, I tend to assume I know this person and I'm just face blind. Like that's the safest option. I'm not mean to people like on accident because I'm like, oh Brie, I'm sorry I didn't recognize you. It's just I'm just gonna be nice and I'll figure out who this is later. Um, so that con that I went to, I was a guest, I was a judge, I did the whole um, running a booth thing, and it was really cool talking to people. And afterwards, they had judging and the competition. So I go and I do all of that. Competition wraps up, and they have this moment at the end where they're taking photos of all of the winners with the judges. And they do that, and I hang around for a little bit just chatting with the winners because they have some questions or comments, and I'm answering both questions and responding to comments. And afterwards, I see this individual standing there, and they, call out my name. And so I walk over and, I sit down like on the edge and I start chatting with them, and they are talking to me. And I'm like, I have to know this person. Like, there's a 100% chance I have met this person before. Like, they're their fiance walked up and they introduced me to their fiance. They're like, "Oh, hey, this is Jules. Like, Jules, this is my fiance." And I'm like, "Oh, hey, it's so great to meet you." I'm just like sweating bullets on the inside. I'm like,
Yeah.
do I know that they're engaged? Should I be congratulating them? I don't know where I am.
Mazel tov.
Just start singing a l'chaim. To life, l'chaim.
L'chaim.
And
L'chaim to life. I'm going to insert that right now.
and I get they follow me to my booth and we're still chatting and it's been minutes at this point and I am racking my brain as hard as I can to figure out who this person is, and they're talking about like a deep cut lore of stuff that I posted on my story back in 2000, so years ago at this point. And they ask for we get to my booth and I have to go to dinner with you and Sam and whoever else, and they ask for a selfie and I say sure, and we take a selfie. They're like, "I'll tag you," and I'm like, "Sounds great." On the instant I'm like, "Good, I can finally figure out who you are." And so they post the picture, and I've never spoken to this person in my goddamn life.
Ooh.
I haven't spoken to them in DMs. They've never commented on any of my pictures. They have just been sitting in the shadows for years.
Oh my god, a lurker.
Gathering information
the worst kind.
On me.
And it was the weirdest feeling that I have ever had. And it was the weirdest feeling that I've had to this day regarding cosplay, which is saying something. So,
yeah, no. Fuck, dude.
That's my story. I know it's not like, and then I got myself kicked out of community college.
The worst part is that all of mine, they sound made up. Because it's so ridiculous.
That's fair.
The ridiculous just follows me.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to touch about is just an elaboration on something we spoke about last week, which was that inherently cosplay idol groups are toxic.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to talk some about that? Because I think inherently this is a little different from a parasocial relationship because everyone actively knows each other. But I want to say it's also not because they don't know each other. They know the persona that everyone else is putting on.
Persona!
They know the mask everyone else and themselves are putting on.
Added Persona 5 clips here.
But acting as though that it is a real person. And believing it's a real person, which therefore makes it real. It's weird. I don't know.
Okay, I actually wrote down a whole insightful paragraph
about
this
mommy.
Earlier. You got it, baby. Okay, it's actually more like 3 paragraphs.
Read to me, mommy.
Okay. Okay. The idol community, fandom, and business as a whole thrives off of parasocial relationships. The main way for artists that identify as idols are able to break out is through creating these relationships with an audience that makes them seem obtainable. We especially see that with these cosplay idol groups. This is also with idol fans, the way they interact with their bias or oshi. They'll spend money on pictures of the idol, pay for access to talk to them for a minute, and all based on this idea that they know them. While there are healthy ways to support these artists, a majority of the fan base, rather the ones that companies market towards, are the ones that are in this game of pretend. Delulu is real and companies know it. Small creators also have to start this relationship early, even if they don't have any following. Coming across as someone friendly, obtainable, and someone that you can relate to increases the chances of marketability towards an audience. You might be seen as an earnest and passionate creative who is trying to follow their dreams, a talent that's putting their all into what they do, someone who wants to bring joy to others. The common factor is that it is a persona to put on to be marketed towards you as the viewer. You are the consumer, and idols are the persona ready to be consumed. creativity as a whole is limited from the start, as you have to fill this pre-made mold to gain a wider traction with online viewers. Want to become an idol or a kai guy idol? The expectation, especially if you're female, is to be high energy and cute with an innocent childlike concept that also appeals to the conservative and familial audience. It also goes along with the line of thinking most commonly seen in anime and Japanese media. There are those who inherently go against this way of thinking, therefore staying true to their artist's vision and not being a sellout. They tend to gain less traction initially, but eventually find their following through those who grow tired of the same mass-produced product. Cosplay idol groups and VTubers do well because they bring these anime characters to life without breaking this escapist fantasy. And that is why they do so well. The other bit, though, is that younger audiences inherently want to escape the difficulties of life. They don't want to address the fact that they will grow old, that someday they will go outside this normalcy that is seen in like schools and have to embrace the real world. So what do you do when you don't want to embrace the real world? You start a cosplay idol dance cover group.
Get
and
it.
then you support all the other ones.
Uh-huh.
And that is how you make
That's
friends
the ultimate
who also
call out.
don't want to touch grass.
That is the
Thank
ultimate
you.
call out, Mags.
Yay, and I made it sound smart.
Oh my gosh. Is there more? Did I cut you off?
No, there was just some little, well, I was going to
Go for
continue
it.
talking about something.
Go.
I forgot where I was at, though.
Damn.
That's the magic of my little tirades. You can't cut me off once I'm going.
I think...
Oh, wait, I'm back. I remembered.
Let's go.
Okay. Because inherently they don't want to grow up. And that is also one of the biggest factors that sells idol and anime. It's romanticizing the points in your life that you can never get back. So much anime and idol anime specifically is done in a high school setting because from a Japanese audience, and that this has actually been said in quite a few interviews by native Japanese individuals who do watch anime, is that they always want to go back to their high school and middle school lives because that is when they were able to live freely. They were able to follow their passions and not have to every day go into work, follow that societal expectation. So what happens when people want to bring that outside of their TV screens or want something obtainable? You go and either A, you start an idol group, hello all you US cosplay idol groups, or you find an underground Japanese idol group that has 0 to maybe 10 people following them, and guess what? You are now their number one fan because you can dish out some money and hold their hand, maybe get a picture every once in a while. Who knows? Sky's the limit. Depends on how deep your wallet is. And then when we get to the US cosplay idol groups, they want to go to Japan. However, they are too young to have that money. So what happens? We start these cosplay idol group like little cults in a sense to emulate, but not understanding the product. They do not understand that they are a product and they are creating this semi-permanent product. And they're marketing themselves in an influencer fashion. Therefore, they're inherently doing the ultimate parasocial bond. The only way that you can get into one of these groups is by auditioning. Who auditions? The people that are directly in your community because you are all children that cannot drive. So you have to be within a 15 to 30 minute drive distance, or if your parents love you, drive you an hour to dance practice, and that is the way that you create these bonds because you're a weeb that doesn't have friends probably or has very few, and you want to expand that reach. And that is how, my friends, the Texas idol scene, everyone knows each other, and once you say one dumb thing or if you say some shit about people, you are exiled. Hello, welcome to my terrain.
Hello.
I'm the Shadowland.
Oh no.
Ha 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 ha. Anyways, that was my little tirade on idols.
I think pointing out the escapist part is important. You don't join a cosplay idol group unless you're seeking escapism.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Because you want to You want to create that fantasy that you see in these shows.
That's why I did it.
Yeah, that's why I did it as well. And that's when you're having that facade, ultimately these groups do better. If you come at it for a musical or creative lens, you're not going to do well because you're not reenacting it. Yeah. You're not reenacting these scenes. You are leaving this community who just wants the same thing over and over again. And it's not based off of creativity. It's how can you look the closest to this animation? How skinny can you get to be the perfect anime girl?
And that's when we point you to our second episode.
Go back one episode, guys.
No, it's wild because I remember my first failed Love Live cosplay group.
Our fail.
Were you in Blossom?
I think you talked to me about it.
Yeah, wait.
You go first.
The individual that we know that we will be calling Miku started that project.
Yeah, I was part of it.
And I left very early because I couldn't commit to things because that's when my job put me under mandatory overtime and I was working 80-hour weeks.
No, I think I essentially filled your spot is the thing.
Yeah, I think you joined after I left.
Yeah.
So
I truly
the one thing I remember with Blossom was, I guess the two things I remember, the desire to lean into the whole parasocial concept, I think, could be seen in the aspect of, I don't know if they did this when you were there, but when I was there, they made little 2D images in the art style of Love Live, like you were, like they would edit them.
Oh, they full on did that, yeah.
Which I think is very strange to, like, I don't know, like a self-insert Love Live OC. And you had to pick your charm point, and you had to pick like a stage name, and like it was an OC. You were just LARPing, guys. You're just LARPing. Go LARP like a normal person.
No, come to our panel.
And then the other thing they did on the concept of just doing the same things over and over, it was always like, we want to do a dance cover, but we can only do dance covers of dances that people have already covered and posted a reverse mirror of on YouTube. So we're just redoing the same thing everyone else has done, and we're just going to go on AliExpress and everyone is going to buy the same set so we all match and no one's making anything or doing any level of alteration. Yeah, because this is trending. Everyone does flower bouquet because everyone knows flower bouquet.
Everyone does Happy Party Train because you can all do the dance covers of Happy Party Train. Everyone likes aquarium, so everyone does aquarium.
And then it was organizing shoots of, like, okay, so we need to do a Valentine's Day shoot, and like we need to do a birthday shoot for your character that you're doing, and it was so artificial. Yeah. But that was what worked because the people who are consuming cosplay LARP idol stuff are other cosplay idol LARPers.
And that's so interesting.
The Venn diagram is a circle.
But it's also interesting because the people who are, I'm not going to say like OG ones, but people who have more of an understanding of... I actually have a somewhat parasocial interaction with that about diet shampoo, but I was going somewhere with something. I forgot.
If you look at the OGs.
Oh, right. I wasn't going to talk about like cosplay idol Love Live groups, but more people who have. But now we are. But the way that cosplay idol groups like inherently work is they are a derivative watered down version of any actual idol group,
Mm-hmm.
but not
It's
understanding
idol
that
group
this is a
light.
business, but that it's a business, and
Yeah.
not understanding why, and being insulted when their social media presence doesn't take off because it's a business. Yes, there's genuine moments. There's parts where like these artists, the reason why they're able to have these contracts, why they're able to record and sing music and do what they want creatively is because of this following. But there's a lot of things that are pre-written, that are scripted. There are beats that you have to hit to maintain that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like an homage. It's not this creepy face mask of, oh, let me wear the face and skin of this anime girl and pretend I am that. It's, whoever voices that is then being like, oh, it's this animated figure's birthday. Yay!
Bro, do you remember the influx right around the pandemic of panels at cons that were just an in-character sleepover concept?
Dude, that was way before. I
They
think the
got
only...
they ended in 2021.
Yeah, no, yeah, they for sure ended in 2021. But I was just like, what? No, I remember in 2007 there was some.
But they came
Or like
back.
even the Q&A panels where it's people just LARPing as
Yeah,
anime characters.
that's so strange.
So weird. Now, I will say that if it was like a maid cafe and people are doing like the Oron Host Club bit, that would make sense. I would accept that.
But that's a whole event. I'm talking about the
But
ones
that's
where
an event.
it's 9 cosplayers, because there's always 9 girls in Love Live who get pajamas and a wig and go up there and
Yeah.
sit and have no plan and just say, let's play truth or dare or ask me anything. And
Let's
they're
do a random
answering
dance play.
and they're
Do all
answering
that.
quote unquote in character. And the thing is, there's
Mm.
a way to do that that's very good.
Yeah.
If you are experienced in doing improv like that, if you are genuinely a theater kid, if you have a framing to work around to immerse everyone in this moment and make it a real event. But when I was with Blossom, the entire, because they wanted to do one of those panels at ACON, the entire concept was just, no, we'll figure it out when we get there. You'll figure it out. You'll wing it. Good luck. Like you are Nozomi, and I'm like, but I'm not. And quite frankly, I don't want to be. And can I do a big call out?
Do the call out. I know what you're gonna do, but do it.
I'm so predictable. Call out to every single Love Live LARP group. Stop making the largest member of your group Nozomi and Daya. Thank you. It is 100% of the time, and you just get typecast as it, and you don't really have a choice in it. Thank you.
Also, let's stop having the skinniest individuals be the lead figures.
Yes,
Please
every
and thank
time.
you. Also,
Every
if you're the
time.
oldest, please stop making them be the old ones or super young ones. It's throwing me off. I can't. I'm done.
You're just done with the LARP scene.
I'm over it.
Sorry, the Love Live LARP scene. Other LARP is cool. We love other LARP.
Yeah. We love LARP. Our whole panel, our whole Bunniichii panel is LARPing. Also, that's how you do improv right, folks. Shout out to Ben and Michael for being the CEO and school board chair.
But like, I know, for example, that Summer has done Q&A panels in character where they were experienced, actors and actresses and people who are good at improv, who know how to do those things and have the charisma to do it. I think children
Do not have the
because
charisma.
that's what Miku was, a child. Just think that there's no effort that gets put into this, and so anyone can do it, and that's how you end up with a lot of really low quality panels like this, and that's how they all get canceled and banned from cons.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That is exactly it.
Do you have any further thoughts to share about parasocial relationships in this general scene?
I think. See, that's also something I was thinking about when I was just like
Yo.
writing down some notes, right? Like yesterday and today. Because, hi, if you didn't know, sometimes at least one of us, well, it's only one of us that is ever prepared. This week, somehow, it was me. It's
That's why
typically
you stole the
Jules.
intro.
I had planned that from last week. As soon as you did it, I was like, next week I'm doing it, baby. um, but I've been thinking about this for the past week, solely because I hate that I'm consistently saying this, but since I am an artist, I'm a musician, and inherently the only way that someone continues to gain an audience is by forming that. It's this very strange back and forth internally, in like internal conversation, where I want people to listen to my music. I want them to acknowledge me as a creative and listen to the words I say, and as well as the message that I'm trying to portray, while also having these boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
But that if I have too many boundaries, I'll inherently fail. I'm not saying that I don't do things out of just pure passion. I always do things because I want to do it. It doesn't really matter too much. If anyone like listens or anything. But it's one of these weird things where no matter who you are, if you have a large following or a small or no one following, we as a society, creative society, I'm going to be specific there, we as a society of creatives have been groomed into having certain expectations. If you want to be acknowledged, if you want to be listened to, if you want to be taken seriously, you have to tiptoe around that elephant in the room of parasocial relationships. Even if you put boundaries and be like, hey, what I am on stage, what I present to you isn't actually me. Please don't, if you see me just out and about, sure, say hi, but please acknowledge that, it's my time.
Yeah. You don't want to
It's just
always
such
have
a
to be
strange
on.
thing. Yeah. But also knowing that if you have that boundary and you stay true to it, inherently people aren't going to like you.
Yeah. Oh, there are
Yeah.
a bunch of people who don't like me because I refuse to play the game.
I know. I no longer play the game, and man, it doesn't hurt that much anymore when I keep getting declined from anytime I audition to be part of an idol performance or showcase in Texas. But man, the sting, it just a bit less each time, but man, it's still the gets an email back. Yep, I'm still not going.
Do you want to take a few minutes to just have a side rant and elaborate on that? Since we're just about done with the main topic and I think we can afford it.
I edit these fucking episodes. I do whatever the fuck I want. Ha ha ha!
Oh boy.
Because this is essentially the same thing that you'll see in any music-centric field or any type of creative performing field. Once you turn your back on one person who has sway in the community, local community, or otherwise, you are now blacklisted from any form of promotion.
Yeah.
When I was in a reggae
100%.
band, this happened when we were in a reggae band. When I told someone, no, I'm not going to do that with you, we were then blacklisted from a lot of the local festivals. And then I got kicked out because I wasn't willing to play the game. And now here I am not doing the very cutesy over-the-top idol shtick. And upon release of my original song that I made, my two hands.
You mean not with AI?
Not with AI, because fuck AI.
Sorry.
AI is not
Let
creativity.
me try that again. Not with generative AI?
Not with generative AI, because that is not creativity. And you know what? Maybe being creative is not for everyone. You know what? I'm going to keep that in the episode too. Ooh, burn, because I'm on a rant and I'm mad now. But you know what?
Huh.
When I put a whole 7 or 8 months of my life into creating a song,
just one,
put it out into the world, just one. It's a lot more than others. And I put my everything into it, and I'm very consistently promoting it. I think only our close group listened to it the day it came out. But
fun fact, Michael made a Spotify account so he could listen to it.
Yay!
And then he deleted his Spotify account.
It's on all streaming platforms.
I
even
just need you
YouTube.
to know that.
I love this. Michael is my favorite.
Hey. I'm right here. Hey, you're not
my favorite.
Yourself.
Jules is my top favorite. Michael's
there
on
we
my
go.
Julie is my number one. This is my top 8 right now for my MySpace page.
Jesus Christ. You spend all of this time making one song.
Right. One song based in the genre that I am the most passionate about, which is punk and pop punk. Focusing on a message that I'm very passionate about, which is the overusage and dependence of social media. And then people DMing me the day of and day after and saying, this isn't the song or the sound you should have gone with. Who wrote this? Who did this? Why didn't you just do a cover of a Love Live song?
It's always Love Live.
It looked, or you're going too dark. Me, what the fuck? My guy, if you've interacted with me in person before, you know I'm all punk. I am grunge. I inherently go against what society wants me to because I stick it to the man where I can. Fuck the machine. Bring it down. And so when someone's like, that's not you, you don't know me. And then them being like, that's not what an idol is, also is disregarding what this performance, like this live art performance is that idols are. Alex and I actually had a really solid conversation about that at Northwest Idol Fest. But just because you want to sell yourself, Alex Pinku, also in my top 8. But just because there's this preconception, this pre-sold notion of what this performance art of idols is, does not mean you should have that very specific image to stay true to. Because I'm not deciding to go with this predetermined mold of being cute and innocent and
Honica.
Unaware. Because I'm not fucking Honica. I'm not a sellout. I was in a reggae band, damn it. And I was a square the whole time. No 420 on 420, blaze it.
Oh my gosh.
Because of that, I have been iced out of the Texas Idol community because I am not doing the shtick that they want to sell. Even if I go forward and say, I'll do a cover of this, because that is not the correct image that they want, I can no longer perform in Texas. No one's going to say it outright, but I know how this works.
Yeah.
I put boundaries on one person, and I didn't have food with them with a group, or I didn't pay them. And it's not that I didn't pay them, because there was a group that I was going to have when I was still initially working on a music video for Brain Melt. I was going to actively hire a local Austin Idol cosplay group to be my backup dancers.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to pay them $300 for an hour and a half shoot, and they'd have free access to the entire location so that they could do like pictures or whatever. Didn't matter to me. Just they'd have like 20 minutes on set. The rest, they're good to go.
Mm-hmm.
They backed out on me 5 days before the shoot.
Oh, man, that's way too close to the shoot.
And it's not because they actively went and told me. It's because I was like, hey, I'm just giving you a week notice, making sure that we still have all the members, everyone knows what we're doing. This is the address. If one or two need to like come a little later, that's fine. I just need you guys to have access or be here between this time and this time.
Mm-hmm.
No response. 7 days out, mind you, and I've already told them that I'm going to be paying them $300
Mm-hmm.
of my own money, because anything that I do, it's out of my pocket. They messaged me 5 days before the shoot and were like, and this is after I saw on someone else's Instagram post that the group was performing at an event the day of the shoot.
No.
Yes. I was so pissed.
No.
Because that means that, yeah, and this was an event that had been planned for only 2 weeks. Meanwhile, I've been in talks with them about this music video shoot for a solid 2 months.
Oh my gosh, you're kidding.
And keep in mind, the dance that they were doing, it wasn't even going to be that intricate a dance. I just told them, pick a TikTok reel dance. I gave them 2 to choose from because the whole bit was going to take
knowing your song,
no more
I
than
see
20
how you're
seconds.
doing.
Yeah.
I see what you're going with there.
Yeah. If you know the song, you can see what I was going with. It was going to be like 20 seconds of them doing a TikTok reel dance, and then me on the ground acting like a baby and a toddler tantrum.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guess they're not doing the same dance I am. A solid, easy $300 that you could have made.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 weeks before you say yes to a gig you're not getting paid for, same day, in the morning, the shoot that I was doing was in the evening, and then 5 days before the shoot saying, after like they've been promoting this event that they joined last minute, being like, hey, so sorry, so one of us said yes to this because we thought it'd be a good opportunity, and even though they're not paying, we just thought it would be nice to do. Could you maybe push the date back? If not, we totally
They
understand.
want you to move your entire filming for them.
Which, by the way, I rented out a filming studio for this.
I hate this.
Yeah, no, it was so stupid. And because I told them, hey, because of that, I realistically won't keep you in mind for the future, just due to I want to have that openness, and you had a lack of communication.
Yeah.
And to me, I found it very unprofessional. I hope that you guys do well at the next performance, that you continue to seek growth and improvement. But I appreciate that you at least gave me time. You know, being very professional, being straightforward and nice about it.
Yeah.
But like, what? And then because I'd also had some other groups actively audition, I had an audition process. Like I did an open call on the Texas Idol Discord servers, like, hey, if you and your group wants to be part of this, it's going to be a paid gig. I'll be giving $300 for you to do this. It'll be from this. Fill out this form, send me, videos of your performances previously so I can see if you'll fit what we're looking for. People did it. One of which was from an idol group based out of San Antonio that I was actually I performed at one of their small gigs. And because I didn't pick them, guess I can't perform in San Antonio anymore.
Oop.
Oh well, I'm not that mad about it. But because
This
again,
guy's-
since all of these things are run by young adults who have no idea how the music like performance industry works, it doesn't even matter about idols at this point. This is me talking as a musician who toured in a band for almost 4 years. And when I say tour, I mean like we toured all around Texas. We did festivals. We did concerts. We did shows. We did beach festivals. You know, this is an actual legitimate band. Not not like a small thing. I made money off of this. You have to understand how the live performance gig scene works before you can put on any type of performance or understand how to work with those types of performers. So my expectations to young adults and teens seem wildly like insane. Meanwhile, me, the semi-professional, being like, what do you mean we're not having like, you don't know when sound check is? There's no sound check? What do you mean I can't have a mic? Wait a second. You mean I have to choose from this assorted list of things, and if I don't, I'm screwed? Oh. I didn't know I wasn't able to bring my own equipment. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait. You mean I have to do Love Live or Bust? This is dumb. It's bullshit, dude. Anyways, fuck the Texas Idol scene. I hope all of you teens who are doing this find success in your own ways, and I hope that you find friends and are able to have happiness creatively, but also don't join pro-ana groups, and learn when to...
And understand that LARP is LARP.
Understand LARP is LARP and know the differentiation between a hobby and fucking music. All right.
Anyway, I think that's a good place to wrap up. I think next week's episode should be about professionalism. Because there are a lot of people in this community and surrounding communities who call themselves professionals, and then when you talk to them like a professional, call themselves hobbyists so that they don't have to be held accountable.
When push comes to shove, baby, it's always that way.
Anyway, Maggie, I've had a great time talking to you.
I, as always, have a fantastic time talking to you, Julie.
I'm sorry that you're
my...
too old and too punk to be an idol.
Rise Against the Machine.
Woo!